All right, y'all. So today we're going to go over the $1 million follow-up method. And I saw this quote somewhere. I may have also just made this quote up, but the fortune is in the follow-up period. Anyone who tells you otherwise is broke. And I think someone who said that is people who aren't broke. So that is the author. It's all about the follow-up, y'all. And I probably don't have to tell that to everyone here, but what I'm going to do is go ahead and give you the $1 million follow-up method that you can use not only to follow up after your discovery calls, but also so that you can follow up to revive dead deals. Now, a couple things, how to use this template, right? If you want this, you can comment below and say template or shoot me a DM and I'll send this over to you. But again, this is all through battle tested stuff, right? That we've done. I have instructions in here, how to use all the templates that we're going to give you to do amazing follow-ups, how to have champion ready content, track content that you're actually sending to your buyers, and then also how to use AI to generate, different content templates. So let's go over what we're going to see here. Tab 1, this is actually tab 2, but anyways, the 4.3 conversion templates, 4.3%, the 41% open rate subject line. I'm going to give you formulas for all this, y'all. The objection reversal framework, the 7-day rule, and the 1.5x deal expansion system. So let's start with these conversion templates that we're looking at here. Now, these templates are going to be used for a few different use cases. So, when you're following up for deals that have gone cold after a demo or discovery call, you're going to see another template here for prospects who attended a demo but didn't move forward. And then for when you need to bring in additional decision makers, right? So yeah, we're going to go through all these. First things first, here's what we focused on these is pattern interruption, urgency amplification, and then value for positioning. So let's look at the first email for the resurrection email. Again, for deals that have gone cold, right? Hey, found this for you. Now, what we're doing is we're not writing something that's too long. We're not just saying, hey, checking in. And we're not saying, hey, here's our latest G2 crowd reviews and how amazing we are, right? What we're trying to do really in this first email is create some FOMO, okay? If you can see here, hey, here's another company like you that was doing this and now they're, having an amazing time and they're making lots of money, okay? So why this works on this email template, and I won't go through the whole thing, but we're going to create curiosity. We're going to demonstrate you listened and social proof, make next steps super simple, and then set clear follow-up expectations. All right. So that is the first one because that's a common issue that we're all seeing there. Now, the second template is going to be this value bomb, which I really like. And this is for people who attended a demo but didn't move forward. So you probably had a discovery, you probably had a demo, and then they ghosted you. And no one likes to get ghosted. So here, what we're going to do is quantify their pain, right? Based on what we discussed previously, create a future state that they can visualize, right? Remind them of why you're the best to help them solve their problem. And then 3, deliver immediate value, right? And so, hey, now I'm not just checking in once again. Here's what you're spending. Here's the ROI. Here's how we can help you. And the one thing on why this works that I never actually mentioned here, which I should add, is that we're using lots of numbers and people just love numbers, right? That's why you see numbers and all the hooks on LinkedIn and all that fun stuff. So we've also kept it brief and kept it interesting, right? Overall, if we look at this template, what are we looking at? We're giving them an insight, okay? We're providing an insight versus just checking in, which literally is just fluff and has no value, okay? Don't get me wrong. I've done that myself in the past, and sometimes I catch myself still doing it, but I'm human, okay? Now, the big thing lately is multi-threading, right? How do we multi-thread? What do we do to multi-thread? How do we make that happen? So instead of you can be super direct if you're like me and just say, hey, who else do I need to talk to? Let's get them involved as soon as we can. But if you want to, be a little more low key about it, here's what you can send to additional decision makers to bring them in. Quick request for a call. Hey, based on what you shared, I'm concerned we might be missing input from role you need to get involved. Previous clients have involved this person because, right? So make it sound, what you're trying to do is 1, identify a gap, 2, provide rationale, 3, offer to do the heavy lifting, right? You don't want to make it seem like it's a lot of work for them to get someone else involved, and then make it easy to move forward, right? That is how we want to approach this. Okay. We want to make it like it's a critical piece of the process. And that's what it always looks like when buying your software or your product, and make it sound like that's a super common thing, because you have to remember that most buyers probably have never bought your software before, or they're new to buying your software. They don't know everything about your software like you do. All right. So that is the 4.3% conversion templates. And I like to say here, like the difference between a 2% conversion rate and a 4.3% conversion rate is not a 2.3% improvement. It's a 115% increase in revenue. Small hinges swing big doors. All right. So remember that small hinges swing big doors. Okay. So we gave you some templates. All right. Those are follow-up templates for the $1 million follow-up method. Now let's look at the forward formula. Like all of my subject lines, I've probably tested, early at outreach. I've probably sent and written thousands of cold emails at this point from scratch before AI was even a thing. Right. So, there's always this formula that I seem to work when helping other customers and still that I use to this day. Okay. Now, today, I think I saw some stat that your prospect gets an average of 147 plus emails per day. Right. Wow. Okay. Now, here's the thing. The difference between a 15% open rate and a 41% open rate is the difference between starving and thriving. If 100%, it doesn't care how good your email is. If they don't open it, doesn't matter. Okay. So what you're doing with your subject line, think of it like a mini sales pitch, right? Subject line equals mini sales pitch. Why should they open the email to then read the bigger mini sales pitch? Let's call it the medium sales pitch. Okay. So you want to do the mini sales pitch. That is your subject line. That's how you want to think of that. Now there's 4 components. There's name. People love to see their own name, verb, specific noun, and then a benefit. Okay. So let's see some examples. John found this strategy for you. Sarah created an ROI calculator overnight, right? Promises value, shows effort. Mike fixed the implementation blocker. Whoa. Okay. Team built a custom timeline today. All right. So you can see we use this exact format: name, verb, specific noun, benefit. Okay. You can do this. Let's say you're selling a widget that has to do with, I don't know, what's a good product right now? Let's say you're selling SMS texting software. Okay. SMS texting software. Great. Sally, send 10,000 text messages overnight to achieve 10K, right? Again, I'm just thinking off the top of my head, but you can take this formula, you can plug this formula into AI. You can even look at Dante here, right? It can have, this our AI agent. You can have it write some stuff for you there. All right. This is a good one. The subject line is an ad for your email. If it doesn't sell to open, nothing else matters. Exactly. It's a mini sales pitch. Okay. So that's your subject lines for your follow-ups. Okay. All right. Now, another follow-up item that I included here is the ACEs framework. So now this is where we're going to turn rejection into revenue. Why did I include this? Because sometimes you follow up, and when you follow up, you get some objections. That's part of the process. Okay. They're going to happen. It's inevitable. And here's the kind of common ones that you're going to see, right? And how we use the ACEs framework. I'll just go through one of these. I'm not going to go through all the examples that I included. Let's just go through one. So what's the common one we all get? It's too expensive. Okay. So what you want to do is ACEs. Acknowledge. Yep. I hear you. That's basically what it is. I hear you. Clarify. All right. Just so I understand, is it the investment that seems high in general, or compared to other solutions, or relative to the expected return? Okay. You clarify, then you evaluate, right? Looking at the bigger picture, you mentioned earlier that problem is costing the team roughly this. What would be the value of solving that over the next 12 to 24 months? And then lastly, solve. Okay. Many of our clients initially had similar concerns. What we found works best is blank. This would allow you to do this. Would that approach make more sense? Okay. So this is where you then offer the alternative payment structure or ROI guarantee, or free 3 months or whatever. Most people, what they do is they go straight to solving without trying to clarify. Okay. Without trying to acknowledge, clarify, and elevate. They get kind of worked up and they're, well, let me just see anything that I can offer right away to appease. No, acknowledge, clarify, elevate, solve. All right. ACEs. Remember this. This is a good acronym. You're going to love me for that in the future. Okay. Now, a lot of people come to me and they say, well, Andy, how often should I follow up? I call it the 7-day rule, right? So if for closed lost ops, for ops that you are working where they've ghosted you, I have the 7-day rule, right? I don't hit them up every day, but you'll see here what we do on day 0. We'll do something here. And again, this is rough, right? We try and do it within a week or so, but every other day. How do I do this? I do this in my inbox and with Distribute. I create Distribute follow-up documents, and then I use Boomerang to bump and use my inbox as my task manager to continue to follow up with people. Okay. So I keep it very basic. But what do? We use email, phone, email, LinkedIn, and email here for the 7-day follow-up sequence. Okay. So by 7 days, we mean 7 touches. All right. So again, I won't go through all of this, but the idea that you're seeing in the 7-day follow-up sequence, it's that none of these are just checking in. They're all providing a piece of value, high value content, or giving an insight. All right. So now that is essentially our 7-day rule there. Lastly, what I'll follow up with is how do we follow up if we want to expand a deal? Okay. I have some additional items that you can go through here. I won't go through them too much in detail, but if you did like this and you want to actually create more follow-up resources, I would check out Distribute, which is the AI powered follow-up machine, right? So you can create anything for business cases, case studies, executive summaries, product overviews, and have AI create all that for you based on your company information, all that fun stuff. And if you actually want to go through this and see how Distribute can actually help you, I would recommend checking out one of our free AI sales strategy sessions, as you can see here, where we'll go through and map out kind of how you can use AI for all of your sales collateral and your follow-ups and all the collateral that you're using in your deal processes. All right. Thank you all. I hope you have a good day.